guess we should introduce it
Yeah.
officially. Usually Phoenix takes over that because I'm usually like hitting record on all the stuff. And then he's like, you should probably introduce your podcast. I was like, I don't want to. Welcome, everybody, to the Backseat Playlist podcast. You'll notice that the first voice you heard is not Phoenix Johnson. He could not make it. He had to go educate the youths on how to properly play the rock and roll music. But we have Josh Fidler filling in. He was supposed to be over there on the couch next to Animal, but instead he is at the poker table as the official co-host of this episode. So
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming over.
Absolutely.
I've been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, man.
I would say that you are our number one fan.
I probably am. Yeah. But if you like for comments, likes,
Yeah, no, my stepdad said, he's like, I like that not only does he have to listen to it right away, he feels the need to like comment on it. And I was like, we have a little bit of an internet bromance.
Yeah, it's true.
Working, so it's...
Hey, it's useful information.
Thank you.
And I'm always seeking out useful information.
You are the person that I have ordered the most amount of food from that I don't know how to actually pronounce when I order it.
Well,
so
that's great.
I think it evens out.
I like that. I like to make things as hard to order as possible for people.
I'd like to route my consoles as hard as possible for other people to understand.
Like how do I use this?
Yeah. So
good. Well, it's good to be here.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. I don't know. Worked today and drove out here to hang out with you and talk some shop stuff, I guess, for a little bit.
I just played your work the other weekend.
I know. I wasn't there because I'm not there on Sundays, which I'm fortunate about because I'm with my family. But all the happenings happen on Sunday.
Yeah.
So, but everyone loved it.
That's good.
Yeah, that was with Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, the final Gettysburg Rocks day.
Yeah.
There was some guy who was like, I was at the Pike all weekend and it was awesome. And now I'm here. It was awesome.
It's a good event.
Thanks, guy.
Like they pull in a lot of people, and hopefully next year we can get some stuff in the theater there too for it. So once
I haven't seen that room yet.
It's cool.
I mean, I saw it when it was like.
It looks like a theater with a line array system.
Hey, line array systems are cool.
And a stage.
It's the JBL boxes, right? Yeah.
It's loud.
That's good. I run the same PA at the Majestic, so
yeah.
I think the subs are different, though. I think you got EAWs.
Yeah. Which should be.
They're great subs. I mixed the whole Gettysburg Rocks. Well, not the whole, because it was like February Rocks or something this year. But on Friday and Saturday, I mixed with those subs.
Nice.
They went over well.
Yeah, I think they're bringing all that stuff out Friday, so should be up and running. So
nice.
It's gonna be cool. It's like it's a weird size venue. I think that's going to be the challenge.
For anybody who doesn't know, it was the Cinema One of what used to be a movie theater, and now it is a restaurant and cidery.
Yep, it was cidery? Frank's Theater, and But yeah, it's interesting that it's like 150 seats. So it's like you can't really get a real big band, but you can't put a small band.
Yeah, that's a weird size.
Like, find some mid-level,
mid-level small bands.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. And the local thing is, we do want to create a space where it's like you can come and have this killer sound system, and we'll get a killer sound person like yourself to come run sound. It's like for the smallest local band. Yeah. And just do some band shows and things like little festivals and stuff like that.
Be fun to do.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm so bad at being the host. This is where Phoenix's bubbly personality
comes. He's very animated. Yeah.
I'm not. This is why I asked him to host my podcast instead of me hosting my podcast.
He is he is good at it for sure.
We have discussed his one major flaw.
Interrupting you.
No, it's a lifelong allegiance to the Dave Matthews Band. They're one of those bands where if someone's like, I got a free ticket to it, I'd be like, oh, go.
It depends on what I would be doing that week. I mean, they're phenomenal musicians.
Can't knock the musicianship.
I listened to it when I was young.
It's a style of music that I'm not usually one to gravitate to regardless. So I don't think
I have found myself stuck on a Dave Matthews YouTube video, once or twice. Wow, it's a big production that they put on. Yeah. The drummer's killer. All the musicians are killer.
I used to be a big hater of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then I watched like a mix through of like not a mix through of a Chili Pepper song, but it was like mixing approaches by someone who mixed one of their records.
Was it?
I think it was Brendan O'Brien or something.
And it wasn't Andrew Sheps.
No, it was because it was one of the ones from the 90s. I think it was whatever Give It Away was on. But I noticed that like he bussed the snare reverb in with the room tracks.
Okay.
And I got obsessed with doing that. And then I went on a Red Hot Chili Peppers kick, and I was just like, they're just easy to listen to. Like, I get it now.
Yeah, it's like easy listening.
Yeah.
Especially like the Californication stuff on. Like the multitude of how successful that album was. Like the first time I heard it, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be
I remember like
huge.
My uncle and his friends and my stepdad were all into it when I was like a real little kid. So like I remember being a little kid and being like, Chili Peppers are awesome. Then I got into like punk rock and I was like, it's stupid. And
they sort of walked that line though.
Yeah.
Because I remember with my group of friends, it was like Bad Brains, Dead Kennedys, but then like everyone liked the funky Red Hot Chili Peppers kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not my favorite band, but they're definitely talented.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I think that's called maturing.
Yes. Yeah. I like a lot of things now I didn't used to like. So.
Yeah, it's strange.
And then I wonder what I missed out on, you know? Like, did I miss out on some good stuff? Because I was just like so into indie rock music in college, like,
probably.
And everything else sucked and nothing else was good.
Yeah, I think I don't have that many guilty pleasures now. I think being involved in audio has really made me like shake that, because I'll see, like at my level of even like live tech stuff, like a lot of the shows that I work aren't exactly the shows that I want to be working, but I can find something to appreciate in the performance if it seems pretty genuine.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like, especially going on this like recording journey I've been on, is like, I find things on records where I'm just like, wow, that's amazing, or those drums sound amazing, or those guitars, or whatever it is, and then you really start to listen on that deep level, and that's been the weird thing, like for this last year and a half for me, has been like, wow, I'm just listening in such a different way to stuff, and like appreciating the work and time that goes into some of this stuff. Is like, I was mixing some stuff for Daniel Collars, who did a couple tracks, and I mean, I'm on like version 50, and I've got, I mean, literally 200, 300 hours in it. Like, I mean, it's, my wife told me this morning, she's like, you have to stop. She's like, that's enough. No more versions. Like, you're done.
I saw a sign once that said, done is better than perfect. I'm trying to like embrace that more, which I think is my attraction to like more the live stuff. Because if I screw up something, it was like, well, it's done. It's over.
Nobody's gonna know it.
Like,
as long as the ending's good, everything's fine. So
I'm starting a full-on album production now, and I'm listening back to my drum tracks. And I texted my girlfriend or something, or like we were in line to get food or something, and she's like, "You seem stressed." I was like, "I'm gonna have to redo all these drum tracks that I've recorded." She's like, "Why?" I was like, "I hate the kick drum." And then I realized that I had a microphone on the back of the kick drum, as you can see, like just above the beater.
Yeah.
And I didn't flip the phase on it when I started mixing. So, like, that's why my kick drum sucked. And I realized, like, oh, no, I actually did this right.
Yeah, it's wild. And I was talking to Bob about that, like, comparison of live sound. Because, like, when I think about running live sound right now, it stresses me out, like, to no end. Because I'm like, how are you going to, like, do all that on the fly? Because it takes me hours of sitting there and, like, figuring out where I want to route everything. Bob's like, oh no, it's easy. Once you do it a couple of times, it's fine. You get your program down, you get your workflow down. But it just seems stressful to me because I spend so much time honing in on like perfecting this thing, and you can't. You just have to get it as close as you can. And
it still stresses me out. Like if I'm mixing, especially like sometimes I'll mix events in the theater, and I know that there's 700 people in the room, and it's just like, oh man, there's a lot.
Yeah, like I was stressed. Like, what if I open a channel and like I have the gain wrong and it like starts feeding back? It's like that's like the worst thing that could happen. It's like, I could never do what you guys do.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the people get a little annoyed because sometimes I'm in there just like making weird noises with my mouth in front of a microphone because I'm like, there's a weird like 100 hertz resonance on our stage in the theater. So like, I know that the JBL wedges that we use, the like VRX 7000s, like if you give a 100 hertz bump to those wedges, they do come alive, because Bob's mixed on them for years and he's like, just try it.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, but my stage resonates like just above that. So I'm constantly making funny sounds.
Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, it's been like a crazy years, you know, through this. Well, I guess 2 years now since quarantine, and I got back into music and recording again, and was also congruently, or I guess parallelly. Yeah, make up words here.
We do it all the time.
Like in parallel, opening a restaurant and building a restaurant out. So it was like the amount of time I've put into like learning how to record again. You know, we used to do it back in the day, like with Dan and Bob and like just whatever, like a Mackie 16 channel and do like an ADAT recorder. Like it was cool stuff back then. Now it's like, you know, a dinosaur piece of equipment. It's like you want to carry around this 16 track ADAT. It weighs like 50 pounds.
Yeah,
you know?
I do like modern technologies really saved the back.
Yes, and it's you know, the thing I like about it is that it's, you know, it kind of allows more people to have access to things, to create things that you couldn't do before, and sort of like evens the playing field. So like if you have great songs, like you don't have to spend like $300,000 recording them, like to get them out into the world. So that's like, I think that's super cool.
Oh, there was I found this fascinating. It was there was a power outage in New York in the late 70s. So in some of the more like bad neighborhoods, which eventually like where all the hip hop came out of, like there was a power blackout and there were like riots and lootings, but like there was a bunch of DJ gear that was stolen, which sucks for the people who own the store. But I was like, oh, if you look at all the music that came out of people that probably illegally got their DJ system, like, I don't know. It's just cool to give an entire community access to something and then look at everything that came out of it.
Yeah.
I thought that was...
Absolutely. But it's like just getting back into the swing of this stuff is like, there's been such a learning curve to go all digital and learn, you know, Logic and just hours on end of just mixing. And then, you know, my big thing now is just trying to get stuff to mix. Like, that's not my own stuff, like just to have stuff to work on. And, you know, I did that project with Daniel's band, which Two to Fly, which it sounds cool. I'm really happy with it, and they're happy with it too. So, you know, now I'm just like, give me more stuff to mix. Just give me all the things, and I'll just mix it for hours until it sounds good. But
yeah, I would do that when I was in audio school. Like people would like work would end, and they're like, "We're gonna go out." I'm like, "I'm gonna go home and mix some Pro Tools."
It becomes an obsession.
It does,
and it's like it's better than going to the bar, I guess.
Probably,
you know?
yeah.
Like,
I mean, I made less friends, but it probably worked out in the long run.
Yeah.
Like, I don't talk to any of those people
I
anymore.
don't have any friends like that aren't, you know, musicians or cooks or something.
It is a muscle memory thing, though, because I haven't really had to edit drums, like, intensively in a while. And I was, like, editing drums the last couple days. I'm like, I forget how to do this.
I hate editing drums.
It's not fun.
It's not fun.
Especially when I'm the one playing. It was like, I can't even yell at the guy for not playing them better.
Yeah, you're like, this guy sucks. Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, it's we're working on some Bear Mtn stuff, new record, and that stuff's actually super fun. And we got this guy, Julian, he lives down in Nashville, but he's doing drum tracks for us. He was like a friend of a friend kind of thing, and he like, I guess he tours with like Eagles of Death Metal and Amanda Shires, cool. And who else? Lone Bellow.
Yeah.
He plays for them and does a lot of session work down there. But he's super, super cool guy. So fun to work with.
Nice.
So we just send, you know, stems and then
he lays them down. Yeah.
He does it like in like 2 edits. Like it's like crazy. Like,
oh, good for him.
Yeah. Like it's just, you know, he's just on another caliber of musicianship, and but it's brought such like a life to the songs, like other than me trying to like bang out some like crappy drum track. Just makes all the difference. So
it does. Feel is important.
Yeah, the performance, because I mean the tones he's bringing are amazing too, and his miking technique and everything is perfect. But it's like they're not that much better than the tones that I could get. But it's like the performance is everything.
Yeah, when I was a student, I was fortunate enough to sit and watch a drum session with Chad Zaliga, formerly of like Breaking Benjamin and stuff,
nice.
and he was in on a session, and I was like.
Yeah,
it's not in the cards for me, dude. Like, I'm really glad I found audio because.
It's like in music, like you have to be really good to make money at playing your instrument.
Yeah,
like you have to be next level because I can record cool guitar stuff, like, but it takes me hours and hours of work. And a lot of these session people can go in and like bang that out and
knock
like
out 4 songs in 4 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to find your path to, like,
yeah.
How do you stay in it and do something that you love to do and, offer something to the music community around you. And that's why sound people are so important. And
I had that thought. I saw a Tool the other day.
I saw you were there.
We were kind of like side stage. I was like halfway, it was just like in the midst of the concert. I just remember being like, Danny Carey just like, he ad-libbed a drum part to The Pot. I don't know if you've ever heard The Pot by Tool.
I mean, I don't know specifically the song.
He basically just like made up a Tool song on the spot. Like, because the drum part was close to what the album was, but it was also completely different. And I was like, wow, he just like ad-libbed like 80% of that song.
I wonder if like it pisses off the other band members.
No, because they're not playing to a click or anything. Like, it's all just in the moment. It was cool to be close enough to like see like they're gods amongst men to me, like the top of the pyramid, and they're just like looking at each other like, someone's almost falling off the cliff here.
Yeah.
But I just remember thinking like, I'm never gonna be that dude. But then
I'm that guy.
The monitor engineer was also on the side of the stage where my seats were, and I was like, I think if I work hard enough, I could definitely be that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never gonna be the guy that everybody's watching, but I can be the guy that 95% of the people in the crowd don't know exist. And I was like, sweet.
Yeah, and I think like the parallel there to like the other work that I do, like kitchen stuff, is like I'm like the face of the restaurant, but all these other people make it work.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have all these people, like the show would not go on. And I think that's super cool. But that's also something that took me a long time to realize the importance of, and that goes back to that maturity stuff, because when you're younger, it's like you have this rock star mentality, and
I was
you
the
make
best
mistakes.
Dishwasher ever, believe me.
Were you?
No. Yeah.
I'm pretty good. I wash dishes like
it was
all my shifts this week, so it's just
I'm happy to not have to do that anymore.
When like young kids say they want to be a chef, I said, well, do you like doing the dishes?
And they're like, no.
If they say no, and I said, well, then you can't be the chef.
Yeah,
so.
It's a pretty big part of it.
Yeah.
It's just like there was someone at the theater, and we were cleaning up from a gig, and they're like, do you actually enjoy like doing sound and like lugging all this stuff out? And I was like, actually, I do.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun to me. The only time I don't like it is when someone doesn't wrap a cable correctly.
It's pretty annoying, but Dan and Bob Dan specifically, yeah. And actually for years I don't want to admit this, but I pretended that I couldn't do it for a little while.
That you couldn't wrap a cable?
Yeah, I'd just like mess it up, and then so he would just grab it and then he would do it.
Okay.
I'd never admitted that to anybody. I feel kind of shitty about it, but I think he might have known.
No, because there's like once every big gig where I will go to like coil a cable and it's just not working, and I'll just drop it and leave it. I'm like, well, someone else. Like, I've had to throw it out 8 times and it's still not working. Like, I give up.
Yeah, that is annoying. But yeah, it is. I think the last show we played, Scott Fish did the sound for it, and I stuck around and helped him wrap up all the cables. And he's like, "Man, what are you doing? You don't have to do this." And I was like, "You know what? I actually like doing it, so it's fine." And
there's very few things I thrive at in life more than a good loadout.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm feeling it, I love loadout.
Yeah,
my
like,
favorite.
can you do this? Like, let's do this in an hour. Let's just get it done.
Oh, we have a thing where if Bob and I are working a gig together, I'll time it. And there was one time we worked a gig. It's back in September, and we did, I think, the chili cook-off the day before, and then it was just he and I for the next day, and we did a loadout in a very similar time. Like, we did a 78-minute loadout breaking down the full array for the chili cook-off, which is 6 subs and 7 boxes each side and 8 monitors and a monitor console and a front-of-house console. Damn. It was like raining during the morning. It was like right when I just shaved my head for the first time, and no one told me that like the sweat just drops down the whole
it doesn't have anywhere to go.
So that was fun. But then the next day I think we had to do a gig. And it was a smaller gig, and it was just he and I, and we did like equally as impressive as a loadout as like what the time would allot for. I think we broke down everything in like 38 minutes or something like that. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I think when you do professions that involve some level of monotony, like in the kitchen, if I have to break down like 20 chickens, like I'm just timing myself.
Yeah.
And like I find the pleasure in like, have I gotten a little bit faster at this thing than I was last time? And that's why I try to tell like younger cooks, like, if you don't find some pleasure in this monotony of your work, because all work is monotonous at some point, there's no job in the world, I think, that's like something different every day.
Yeah.
You know, even like Anthony Bourdain or somebody like that travels for a living, like that shit's got to be monotonous.
There's always
as
an
fuck.
airplane ride that you don't want to be on. Yeah.
A layover, you know, a rehearsal. It's like, you know, so it's like, you know, how fast can I cut up a bag of onions? You know, it's like just finding the little joys and
yeah,
things.
There's odd things that are just satisfying to do throughout the workday. I don't know why, but like I've also found that with people that I've encountered, if people have worked in a restaurant or a busy kitchen and then they work in the live entertainment realm, there is like another level of like go time
hustle
that you can achieve. Yeah.
It's because you're like in the kitchen, you're on that same kind of time crunch where it's like hurry up and wait. You know,
we've all been doing dishes when there's no clean glasses left.
Yeah,
and everyone's looking at you. Like, oh great.
Yeah, you're like, oh man.
So I guess it's sort of the same in live. I feel at least, but I also like it. Also translates in the flip side, where it's like sometimes some of the calls at the theater. Like John, my boss, like the tech director of the theater, will call me in the day before to set up, just so there's not a time crunch, and I will take my time.
Yeah.
Just because if I don't have to like, I've set up so many shows under the pressure of doors opening that if I don't have to, like, I'm gonna take my time.
No, that sounds relaxing.
It is. I'll put a podcast on or 2 or however long it takes, and I'll throw all the monitors out, and I'll place my 58s up, and I'll go up and I'll make weird noises in them and make sure that nothing's immediately feeding back, and then I'll go build a scene for this specific show so I don't have to just throw stuff up. It's actually very
Will you just build that off the rider or something? Like,
yeah, if it's... I try to be a good house guy where if we get a plot and they're using our console, I will build one... There's like 3 or 4 ways that I've seen consoles kind of built that's like the staple of what the people coming through use. So I will make like, I'll do a scene that's literally just everything 1-to-1, like exactly as the writer, and they can program everything. And then I'll do like another one where it's just like, you know, I know that the 1-to-one's maybe a little too dumbed down for how they like to do it, so I've seen it done this way, and then maybe I'll make a third one and a fourth one of just giving people the options. Because we have a Soundcraft VI 3000, so that's got a bank of 8, your 8 outputs. That's also a customizable there, and then there's 8 faders over here.
Okay.
So I feel like some guys really don't like reaching over here. Like, you can't touch the first and last fader with your fingers.
Yeah.
So some people like to just work down. So I'll usually build a file that's just that. So
are you doing any of the like engineering for the front of house, or do they always have an engineer with them?
For the bigger, like the summer concert series and stuff that we do, I'm just kind of the audio liaison, where I'm just like, my name's Adam, I'm the house guy. If you have any questions, I can help you set up the console, or if not, I'll just be back there cleaning
wrapping
something
these
up,
cables up.
wrapping a cable. And if you have any questions, just yell.
Nice.
And that's cool. And then for the smaller events, it's me doing stuff at front of house. So,
Nice.
or sometimes like there have been shows where they have a front of house guy and he like is on a separate flight and his flight got delayed and he can't make it. So they're like, well, you got to mix us tonight.
That's cool.
All right. Sure.
I got it.
Stressful, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you went to school then for audio?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
Amp in
Oh,
Sherrishtown.
nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Local
Yeah,
venue.
it was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, they a lot of students coming out of there.
Yeah, it was also good because I was just like, I was a horrible student. I was just terrible.
Like at regular school.
Yeah. And I don't think it was like a smart thing. It was just like lazy. It wasn't laziness. It was just apathy. It was like, I don't care about this.
Yeah.
Like,
sometimes like creative people struggle with like
Yeah.
that kind of academic
But then-
structure.
they were like, well, if you go to school here for audio, you're just going to learn audio. Like, you'll have to learn a little bit of like other stuff that's industry related, but you don't have to take like 2 semesters of like ancient Chinese architecture just to fill a fucking credit. I was like, I like that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
I
do
went
that.
to like a specialized photography school, so we had like a business class here and there. And,
Yeah,
but,
there was that
But for the
covered,
most
too.
part, it was just photography classes, so that was pretty nice.
Yeah, it's nice when, like you come out of school and like you know how to solder. So you can like people are like, "Oh, you actually know how to solder?" I'm like, "Yeah, they taught it to us in like 2 days."
I need to
like-
learn how to solder.
It's
I'm
I did
always
that.
like breaking cables and like they're just hanging on the wall.
there was
Broken.
we have like stage boxes in the theater and it's like a monitor split out and then there's a couple like XLR returns or inputs.
Yeah.
And the one just stopped working and I took the plate off and I was like, "Oh god." Like whoever soldered this initially, it was just like, this is not acceptable. Like all of them are barely on there. So I soldered the stage, like resoldered the stage box one day.
See, that's a good skill to have.
Yeah.
For sure. Like I always ask when I see Bob, I'm like, "Hey, give me some soldering lessons." He's like, "Yeah, come on up." But then we never have time
Yeah.
to do it. So
Not after the first, 20 failed attempts, it's pretty easy.
I know I should just buy the stuff and
I had to get I had to get the muscle memory back for that though. I like started it and I was like, do I tin the
what's the order here?
Yeah. But I only burned myself once and I soldered like 10
Only
things.
once.
So that
That's
was
good. That's good.
probably my best record.
So 1 out of 10, it's like
Yeah, 10% of the time.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Soldering irons are hot.
They are hot. Yeah. So I this whole year has just been just trying to figure out my workflow at the studio, and
Yeah.
I just got it figured out at my studio. And now I'm gonna move it all upstairs.
Yeah,
So
that
it's gonna
happened.
change.
This is like
but-
the 3rd iteration of this room. And we just moved in July of last year.
to here.
Yeah.
What
So
is this? Is this like a compound?
A family compound.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I lived in this house.
Okay.
And then we moved to another house when my mom and my stepdad
Like that
got
one
married.
over there?
No, we lived on Knoxland.
Oh, okay.
And then my great-grandparents used to live in the small house up there. And my grandmother and my grandfather lived in here. And my grandfather passed a couple years ago. And then my great-grandmother moved out to like an assisted living facility. And it's just too much property for
Yeah.
one now senior citizen to handle. So we all moved in here. She moved to the little house.
It makes sense.
So it's weird to be in the same bedroom that I was in when I was like 6.
Yeah, driving up here definitely get like a compound feel to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's kind of culty.
I was like, what's going on up here? What
Cult.
what am I getting into?
You're in a cult now.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
As long as we get to record some drums.
We
or
can
something,
record. Yeah,
I'm
it's
cool.
a recording cult.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm in.
That's
Count me in.
that's my thing. That's how I'm going to get suckered in.
Yeah.
Be like, we got speakers. Cool. What kind? All right. That's how I'm going to get kidnapped.
You have 12 Apollo interfaces? Okay.
Sweet,
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I have one over there.
What are you working with?
The twin quad.
Ooh, the quad. Nice.
That was a good. That was
you gotta have a lot of DSP chips.
Yeah.
They really kind of screw you over, but
Well,
I'm not going to get into that argument. But
I was going to get the duo.
that's
and
what
then-
I had.
And someone was like, nope, don't do it.
You can only run
Like-
2 plugins.
They were like, if you have a satellite already or a
like a 8,
like the 8 or the 8P. They're like, then the twin's fine or the duo's fine because it's just your monitor controller with a little extra gas at that point.
Yeah. I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
And my buddy Aaron, who I do the Bear Mtn stuff he had a twin when we recorded like that stuff, and I started using it, and like the plugins were real nice, and then I like held off for like 8 months, and then I got a twin duo, and immediately was like, I have to get a satellite because it's like I want to use these plugins, but I can only, like if I'm tracking with something coming in, and then it just doesn't work. So then I also added an Apollo 8.
Do you have the 8 or the 8P?
An 8, and it's an older one because I bought a used one.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, it's going to do everything I need it to do, and hopefully it'll be good for a few more years. And
yeah, that's my like. Because right now I'm tracking drums through Nick's album with that Soundcraft UI little.
Yeah,
mixer.
you were telling me about that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty intuitive and it's simple, and the preamp sound pretty good. But it gives me 20 inputs, which is useful for a drum session, as opposed to running my Behringers into my Apollo
like summing tracks.
I don't know. I mean, I would just rather because even for Nick's album, which is like a stripped down album, I still have 13 mics on the kit.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not trying to use them all at the same time.
No.
Even when I mix, I have a very 24 track mentality where I try to challenge myself. I'm like, okay, well, only 24 inputs can be running at any time in a song.
Yeah.
Because I think that makes everything feel bigger. But I like having the options of well, maybe this song, the snare needs to be brighter. So instead of automating an EQ or over EQing something, I have a snare dark mic and a snare bright mic.
So you put the same position.
Yeah.
2 different mics.
Yeah.
Different.
So I'm
frequency
running
range.
Bear Mtn, which you've heard me rave about on this podcast. It's my favorite. And then that high old PR30 is my snare bright mic.
Huh.
And then I like, room options. So I have these 414s I borrowed from the theater are kind of my stereo room image. And then that Neumann is behind the couch, and the couch is where we're sitting
here
now. Yeah, kind of as a close baffle.
So you're using a room mic, but kind of like muting the harsher frequencies.
Yeah, it's kind of just and I'm not playing hard on this stuff. It's all gain and really light touch, which is an explosive sound as it is. But then if you just crush a room mic that you played, if you have a lot of gain, quiet playing, and then you crush it with a limiter, it gets explosive, but not harsh where it's all.
Yeah, the drum episode, all the miking episodes you've been doing, I gleaned a lot off of that, and that's for the last 6 weeks. I've just been going to the drum shop, buying new heads, changing them out, and I've been trying to tune my snare for literally 6 weeks, and I just cannot make it sound good.
Using 2 keys?
No, I need to get 2 keys because everything I watch, it's you got to use 2 keys, and it makes sense. But drums are hard, and when we were getting these drum tracks from Julian, it's made it 1,000 times easier to mix because it's basically you. But I've also been doing a top-down approach, because you had said this to me months back at Bob's, that you were kind of taking this more top-down approach.
That was right when I got into it too.
Yeah, and so that it stuck in my head, and then so I was like, well, with drums, wouldn't it be better if I made the overheads sound great, and I brought in the rooms, and then if that sits in the mix, now I just start punching things with a compressed close mic on a snare.
Well, because then you can gate it harder, or you're not leaning on the close mic of the shells. Yeah,
and it made a world of difference. And now my drums sound huge and punchy and good. And so you have those breakthrough moments, It's and it sometimes it takes, you can watch all the videos, you can talk to all your buddies. Sometimes you just have to keep working on it
I said because I listen back when I edit them, and this sounds so egotistical, but it was I listened to something that I said, and I was I never thought of that. I said it, and I knew that I did it, but I never like made the connection that it's something that I do.
like it was in your head, like that you're doing that thing all the time. Yeah, it's like
I also went neurotic with a mix over COVID because I had nothing to do, where I took a legal pad and I wrote down every move that I made. So it would be like moved EQ band 6 to 2.5K and boosted it 3 dB.
I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
It was bad.
I mean, was it a learning experience for you though? Yeah.
Because then it would be like, went back, like 3 pages later, it would be like, went back to Waves Q10 band 6 at 2.5K and shifted it down to like 1.6K. And I was like, okay, so I heard the presence of the instrument wrong.
Yeah.
So it made me just more aware of like...
But that's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
I wouldn't, if... I'm not doing that now that I like have to work, but it was just like, well, I don't have anything on the calendar for the next 4 months.
Yeah,
so I can do this crazy person thing.
I mean, the deepest I get is like I'll do notes on how I place the mics and things, just so if I get something really right, then I can replicate it. But
yeah, I have
I'm more of like a just like change everything, then save a new version and just version up every time.
I'm also scatterbrained that if I don't write it down, I'm not going to remember. So like now we're not in mixed note phase. Like this is like we're getting drum sounds and then Nick will track on top of that and we'll get there. But like when I mix stuff, or like I'll have just a notepad and it'll be like, here's the changes I made to this mix this day. Mm-hmm. And then if I have to recall that, I can open a previous session. Or if it's just like, oh, well, I only changed 3 things, I'll just duplicate this and I'll shift it back.
Yeah.
Depending on the time that I have allotted.
So what's your workflow like with Nick? Like, are you rehearsing live with him?
No, this is all from...
You're going all like in studio?
Yeah. He sent me demos. So he would send me rough demos and I would do a thing where I just wrote down my gut thoughts and like I wouldn't listen to them until we started tracking. So now he has scratch tracks done that he's happy with. Because they're like in the gut reaction notes, they were just like, like I feel like on a couple of songs, it was just personally like he was going really fast between like verse and chorus. And it was just like, well, we're not a pop band. So like we can extend this part by 8 bars or whatever. And that was really my only like mixed note thing.
So you're kind of like working on arrangement stuff and like...
Yeah. So I demoed out all the songs and I was just like, here's just kind of a run and gun mic setup. Like I just wanted to test out, like, because I'm doing a mono overhead for it. And I was just like, I just want to see if this works. If you like the vibe, if not, back to the drawing board. So now we're just... And, I've played with him for 3 years now. So it's not like I'm unfamiliar with his styling.
Yeah.
But I'm probably doing 10 takes per song, and I'm doing 3 takes with brushes, 3 takes with sticks, and then 4 takes of kind of a mismatch of something or other. Like some of the songs I just have a really safe, like here's a kick and a snare, because my name's not in big letters on the album. Yeah. So my name's really tiny on the backside.
That nobody's ever going to see, because that's really annoying. I wish like on iTunes I could click on it and then show me the notes.
This one's going to vinyl.
Oh, that's
so
good.
There's an added pressure.
So it'll be a little bigger.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'll do like 3, here's like a brush groove, here's kind of the same groove but with sticks, here's just a pass of kick and snare wherever kick and snare were placed, and if that works, cool, and we need to overdub just a cymbal or something, that gives us the option to do that later. So I just try to give, like, even when I do a couple like remote sessions for people, I try to shoot for 10, and it's not 10 of the same pass. It's 3 and 3 and some stuff.
Yeah, it's we've been doing a lot of remote work like with Bear Mtn, and it's it's awesome that we can do it. When Aaron was here for the last record, he had moved back because of quarantine and was living down the street in my friend's house.
Because he's New York?
Yeah, he lives in the Lower East Side, but it was really nice to get in the room.
Yeah, there is something about
suss out ideas. Because sometimes it's like, I feel like the last record we did was more collaborative because we were in the same room.
Yeah.
This one's like, he basically finishes a song, and I throw a guitar solo on it,
Yeah.
and then we call it a day. Which is, it's fine. It's meshing together, but it's not the same vibe.
There was...
and there's a bigger spread between my songs and his songs now, so...
Gotcha. Yeah, there was a project Phoenix and I were going to do where we were going to try to track it live at the Majestic because I cleared out time and then it never came to fruition, which I was a little bummed about. But
yeah.
It would have been cool to do a live record in the room that I work in all the time.
It would be... It's always intimidating. We tried to do that back in the day with like some bands that me and Dan were working on. It's so hard to like get tight enough to like make it sound really good.
Yeah.
That's when I hear a great live record, I'm like, this band is crazy good.
Yeah. I mean, it does take away. I mean, I was going to do like crazy stuff like drop like some of the side curtains and build like amp booths so it kind of eliminates it. So it would be like, it would have been all of us looking at each other, but there would have been
you would have a good tracks. Yeah, that sounds like a really fun project.
We should do it. Jam. Me and Phoenix. We'll write a indie.
I do need to talk to you about another project, but we can talk off.
We'll talk off air.
But yeah.
Sweet.
There's needs some like drum work, and it's pretty. We'll talk after. It's cool. It's super cool.
I like drum work,
but other stuff too. But anyway,
Are you doing live cabs with the stuff? Or
No.
Do you have the what's it called? The
Oxbox.
Yeah.
Coolest thing I've ever bought.
I had a buddy who had one back in the day, and he didn't like it, and he
Really?
returned it. And I was like, I think this is like the coolest thing
It's
ever.
the coolest thing. It's for my guitar tunes. It's just like, not that miking cabinets is like particularly hard, but it's not easy either. It's like, and
I'm a drummer in a house full of people. Like, it's hard to just be like,
Yeah.
I have a session today, so you all have to hear the same beat for 10 takes.
I love the Oxbox in the way that it's my amp, it's my pedal board. The only thing that it's replacing is the cab sims.
Yeah.
And it's Universal Audio cab sims, and they're crazy good.
Yeah.
And there's 14 or 16 cabs. Now, they haven't had an update for like a long time, which is super annoying, but I have like 2 or 3 cabs in there. I really like. They work for whatever. There's like a black panel Fender 12-inch, like a 2-rock kind of 212 that's just like kind of sounds like my Benson cabinet.
Was there a Mesa one in there or no?
Yeah. There's a Mesa, there's a Vox, there's...
My buddy had it before the Mesa one was there, and that was his hang up, that it didn't have like the...
No,
Mesa
there's one
snare.
now. And then there's all the Marshalls, but...
Yeah.
Man, it's just fun. I have it lined through DI. It's always connected, so if I just flip my amp on and I'm ready to go.
It's the ease of creativity. Well, because there's a quote from one of the engineers who like worked with the Beatles, because there was like some mildly obscure mic that they used on like a guitar pass, and he's like, I find it weird that people are like lusting over this mic and spending this like ridiculous amount of money on it just because it's discontinued. He's like, I didn't use it because it was a good mic. Like, I used it because John Lennon had an idea right now and it was plugged in.
Yeah.
He's like, the mic I wanted to use was 3 floors up at Abbey Road in the mic locker, and I would have had to go up there, take it out of the, like, see if it's there. If it's there, I have to sign it out, and then walk 3 flights back down the steps. And by the time I'm back in the studio, John Lennon's pissed off or gone. So
it's, gear's not everything. Like, I'm learning that. I've been purchasing a lot of mics and stuff.
I bought like 12 microphones last year because I started making money again, and then I got my tax returns back, and I was like, I actually made more money than I thought. Why don't? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bought a lot of mics.
I bought all that gear.
But I'm trying to build a decent mic locker. Like, I don't need to have tons of stuff, but like I need to get some 414s for sure.
Yeah, these aren't even mine. I borrowed them from the theater. That's my boss.
I would borrow them if I could find. Sometimes I borrow Bob's. And like
I think that's when we started like actually talking about stuff. Yeah, I was just like, hey, we don't have anything that we need these for, and I'm doing drums for an album, and I think 414s would work. And they're like, you know the deal. Like, just let us know you're taking them, and don't.
Yeah, Julian uses 414s on his overheads and
they're
his
great
stuff. I mean, he has some magic cymbals though too. I haven't I haven't been able to talk to him about what he uses. And cymbals are so they change like from cymbal to cymbal so
even
much.
the same make and model
like
don't sound the same.
I know. I was like up at Dale's like just playing cymbals for hours the one day because I needed. So I wanted to build this house kit, right? Like, because I want to have a decent house kit.
Yeah, it's totally smart to do.
So like I'm gonna have like get like 4 snares. Like I have a maple. I have that acrylite I just showed you, and then I'm gonna get like a brass or something, and then something bigger and deeper. But like I wanted to get a ride and like 2 crashes and hi-hats, and I was up there for like 4 hours just playing every cymbal and not really caring what the brand was or like what it was. I mean, I settled on K. Like
you just can't go wrong with those.
They honestly like sounded the best. The Peisty stuff, like some of it I liked, but it was a little too like shimmery for me.
I have a theory with Peisty is that they're very telling on how the player is. When a good drummer plays Peisty cymbals, they sound awesome.
Yeah.
When someone who doesn't have the finesse of like a Josh Freese or a Stuart Copeland or a Danny Carey, those are major Peisty artists, like it shows. Like I've mixed some pretty sloppy drummers playing on Peisties, and it just sounded like glass was shattering the whole set.
Yeah. I had a pretty specific, when I was going in to build that cymbal set, like I had a pretty specific thing in mind. Like I wanted like darker, drier kind of stuff. That's just like what my preference is.
Well,
like
because you listen to a lot of the more like indie type stuff. So, Like if you were a death metal guy, I wouldn't be like, you should get some K custom drives. Like,
no. But I mean, I ended up getting a pretty nice little set. But it's like I find myself like, why am I don't even play the drums. What am I doing here? Like And but it's like I want to have a nice spot where you come in, have decent stuff you can use, and a lot of people have their own cymbals and stuff, but maybe I have something that works a little better for that particular song or something.
Yeah, so. No, you can't go wrong with good cymbals, and the acrylite was a great pickup.
$100.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that
because like on Reverb they're like $400.
Yeah,
and
I looked
Jack,
it up.
Like Jack Books, like if you ever met him,
no.
He plays like with Daniel now. He used to play with us back in the day. He's a great drummer, but he was like, do not spend $400. He's like, I will get you one for $100. And like 3 weeks later, I meet him at the drum shop, and there's one for $100. And I was like, sick.
Yeah, there's some of it's Ludwig name, I think, too, but there's some great Ludwig drums out there.
Yeah, I mean, I want a vintage Ludwig kit really bad.
Yeah,
like I almost bought that one the other day.
That would be a good house kit.
Yeah, because it looks awesome.
The classic, you said it was the Blue Sparkle?
Blue Sparkle was like the 28-inch. I mean, it's terrible to play.
Yeah.
Because like I set it up and like the tom spread is like ridiculous. Like,
and I put my hi-hat in the middle, so I have a weird tom spread, but put a 28-inch bass drum in there. I'll be doing this.
And it was like this high. It was like,
it's
like, it sounded cool though. So, but that's just like, I think, if we want to talk about something that might have some, value to your listeners, it's like this journey that I've been going on, like, is either evolving or devolving into opening this like Bear Mountain studio, and it all kind of like stemmed from this project that I worked on with Aaron last winter, and
it's a good EP. Everyone should check it out.
It's pretty fun, and for like we had literally a room like this, but no sound treatment, empty room, no drummers. Like we ended up getting like our friend Leighton to come do some drums, and then I did a couple drum tracks, and he did a couple drum tracks, but just like the quality that we were able to pull out of like an Apollo Twin. I think we had a Focusrite 8. The low end one, Scarlet.
Yeah.
So we had about 10 channels. We had 10 inputs.
That's what I rock. It's just I use the Behringer one instead of the Focusrite one into my Apollo sometimes.
Yes. I bought a Behringer one to expand to
the 88. 8200 or something like that.
Yeah. I actually kind of liked it.
I think my next move when we were talking about Apollo is I don't know if I want to get one of the UAs that has preamps built in, like the 8P, or if I just want to get an 8 or a 16. Because I think I read that the 500 series Midas preamps that they sell for like $220 or something. I think they're the same preamps that are in the Heritage XL consoles.
Really?
Like the flagship ones, or at least they're very similar. And I'm like, I do like the sound of Midas Heritage consoles.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, because I'm trying to plan, do some pre-planning, and so now I'm running the Apollo Twin. I've got 2 unison. I've got Apollo 8, so there's 4. So I have 6 unisons that I bought the Warm Audio WA412, which they sound awesome.
Which one's that one?
It's like 4.
Is that the tone?
The API? No.
Oh.
It's like the API clone.
Oh, I didn't know they did an API clone.
Yeah, so it's 4 WA412. They make it in a single or in a 4. It actually sounds amazing.
Because it's not the Neve one.
No, that they have the 1073 clone, which I'll probably. So anyway,
I've thought about also just like down the road getting it where I just have a mini Warm Audio console where I just have 16 or 8 of the double.
Do you watch Andrew Masters?
Yeah, I got that idea from him.
His setup's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
and I think I'm going there. But so the Apollo. So I've got 6 unisons, and then I've got 4 of the Warm Audios. So I've got 10 really good preamps. So that's pretty good for almost anything.
Better than my setup from a pure gear standpoint.
Then I run in the Focusrite ADAT, so then I have 8 more. So I basically have like 20 channels. Then I can ADAT in my Behringer.
Yeah, so you have 28.
Yeah, like I could have a ton of channels. But what I think the new setup's going to be the Apollo 8, Apollo Twin, the Cranbourne Audio 500.
I've seen those, yeah.
So that ADAT's in. So So that would replace like the Behringer. So then you can fill that with like pre's or compressors. And it's awesome because you can go in and out through the Apollo interface. So you can use any of your compressors as plugins and stuff. So, and it saves you like a patch bay and all that stuff. So, and it's very reasonably priced. So I think that's going to be my setup for the new place. Because I was like, I was going to build like a lot of outboard gear and then realized that I'm not a good enough engineer to hook it all up, you know? So I'm trying to find, and in the box is like, there's a lot of good stuff out there. And
it's really just what you prefer for your workflow. Like I think there's that part of me that why I like doing live sound is because I like having my hands.
Yeah.
Like when I make an EQ move, I've actually thought about actually just getting like a stand-up desk, because when I mix live, I stand, and when I mix,
and you can really get into it.
Yeah.
Like, so you can make a better home mix if you were just standing there, like really.
Well, it was like when I started doing the live stuff at Bob's shop, and I went to mix the first one, it was cool, but it was like my mix felt flat. It didn't feel loud. So I turned off all the lights in the basement at the old house, and I like cranked my monitors up like beyond of what like you should probably reference when you're mixing.
Yeah.
And I just went for it, and I was like, man, I made less moves, and this feels more appropriate for the surroundings.
Yeah, when I started mixing, I the other day I listened to a mix that I did like a year and a half ago, and it sounded terrible. And I compared it to a mix I just finished, and like there was a lot of progress, but most of it was made in like making less dense mixes and cutting out things that you don't need.
That's why I try, like I said, I try to only have 24 inputs in a session go at the same time.
Yeah, and I think, at any time I've got 10 drums, 10. Yeah, about the same. Yeah, it's like when where we get in trouble and our mixes start falling apart for Bear Mtn is like just keep adding like a synth part or add this part or add this, and then all of a sudden it's like everything's squashy and just doesn't work. So.
You don't know what to focus on. Actually, when I got those headphones that you're wearing, I was scared to listen to some old mixes because I like the way that those sound as a.
These are nice.
They
feel really comfortable.
Yeah,
I need to get a new pair of headphones. So.
I recommend
These are Beyer.
Yeah, the 770s, because the 990s are open back.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, because I don't want to hear other stuff.
No,
and like I wouldn't track with those because they're kind of quiet. I got the 250 ohm.
Yeah.
So I might have. If I could do it again, I might get like I think 80 ohm, whatever the mid version is, because those are just a little hard to drive, like with I mean, you're running out of your Apollo, so you have enough gas for it.
Yeah.
But I find on like when I reference on my in-ears or like my other headphones, I was at like between the third and the fourth little like light thing on the dial, and with those I'm at 7 on the low end or 10 on if I'm mixing a little louder that day.
Yeah.
But sonically, I love them. They just have such a...
You sound really nice.
They have such an atmosphere to them.
You have a nice air to your voice.
Thank you.
And like a nice low end.
I've been told I sound good talking into a 7B.
You do.
So
I need to get a 7B too, but...
There.
Did you see the one that Universal Audio came out with?
Yeah.
I think it's just a clone of this like really cheap mic. I was watching this guy's video, and like this company that just makes mics, and they just like rebadge it, which isn't certainly a bad. It's not necessarily a bad thing because they changed it, to their frequency specs and stuff. But and it's not an expensive mic, so
the UA one, I think it's cheaper than a 7B too.
It's like $299 or something.
Yeah.
So
Phoenix has the Pod mic by Rode and loves that.
Sort of the same kind of thing as
we
a
haven't
7B.
shot him out. We haven't A-B'd him. He keeps forgetting to bring it up when we do these because it's set up as his talkback.
You guys have so many A-B things you have to do.
I know.
Like, you have like months and months of filming to do.
I know. And then I'm starting to get
because I'm like, yeah, you should do that.
we talk about it, and then just our schedules are just hectic.
I know.
So we just we need to keep this gaining momentum so we can then get the next thing going on momentum.
Yeah.
But
I'm looking forward to it though.
Yeah,
I'm ready to watch you on your journey here.
Thank you. You'll be a part of it.
It's super cool.
Thank you.
And it like I said it before, this show is very informative.
Thank you. There have been a couple people like I've listened. Do you know it was the guy? Do you know Dodd Edwards? He puts on Homegrown Fest.
No, I don't
comes
think
out
so.
to Gettysburg Rock stuff.
I think
he's a trucker, so he misses some of the stuff, which is why he put on Homegrown. He puts on Homegrown, and he I started this podcast when the pandemic first hit, and then it very just quickly turned into me being sad and talking about Marvel movies, and I was like, no one needs to listen to this. So they're all gone.
Yeah,
all the old episodes are gone. A complete rebrand. But he listened to the new one, like these new ones, sort of. He was like, I tried to listen to it. He's like, I couldn't understand it. But he goes, I did realize that when you're standing there behind the mixing board talking to yourself, because I talk to myself when I mix. Actually, I just talk to myself all day.
Yeah.
He goes, you really put in more effort than the average person probably thinks that you are just standing there. And I was like, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nuance to this.
Oh, yeah. And you can tell. You can... back when we used to play a lot, like, you'd show up to, I think we played, Arlene's Grocery or something up in New York, and, the sound guy just, didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
No shits. Phoenix
and I talked about...
Plug in your thing over there, and then I'm just going to do this, and then I got to go outside and smoke some weed or something.
Yeah.
It's I get it. It's you're mixing, that venue does multiple bands a night. There's, 12 bands. They book you, don't pay anything. It's kind of a sham. But it's I don't know. I could never do that because I'd be like, no, I have to make you sound as good as I can make you sound. That's just me. So.
I actually had I mixed a festival in September, just one of the local ones, and it was just this girl playing a ukulele and singing, but her voice complemented the ukulele so well. It got to the point that I didn't have anything to tweak. And it was the one guy, Matt, who works for Bob, and then my girlfriend was on the other side of me, and they both looked at me, and they're like, what are you... You're usually I was like, I can't do anything.
It sounds good.
I was like, this might be my best mix. They'll both vouch for that. Because they both looked at the same time. They're like, what? You always complain that not enough people... I'm like...
Turn something.
What do you want me to do? I'll hit the delay. I'll tap the delay for the next song. But until then, I have outdone myself.
Nice.
That's
a good moment.
It felt good. Yeah. But yeah, there's just, when we released the episode that we did with Bob, which will probably come out next week.
I can't wait to hear that one.
Phoenix and I talked about, we dealt with, and I'm sorry for people who have to hear this again, I think. We played some shitty bar in Delaware. We had to drive to Delaware. Actually, I had to drive to Frederick to meet Phoenix. Then we drove to Delaware. Then we drove back because I had to do like an 8 a.m. shift the next day, and that sucked. It's like the sound guy was just like, he was so mean.
Yeah.
Like he like threw my hardware bag, and then he's like, "You didn't tell me that was going to be heavy." And I was like, "Well, it's filled with drum stands, so you would have just kind of thought." And he looked like Chris Lord Algae and Radar from MASH.
Oh, nice.
Like
that's a good mashup.
And he was just like, he yelled at me because I couldn't move my drums off the stage in like one just kind of motion.
Yeah, I think
it was a 4-piece. It wasn't like I rolled in with like 2 bass drums, 4 rack toms, 2 floor toms. Like,
I think that there's a point where it's time for some people to get out of what they're doing. Once you get to that, I had a lot of experiences like that too. When we would,
like, I'll hit my moments of frustration throughout the day, but it's rare that
to take it out on somebody.
I mean, I've had to tell people like, if you don't know how your gear works, you shouldn't bring it on stage. Like, the artist is not starting on time because they have one of the wireless mics, like the over-the-ear ones, and it's not syncing up to their like receiver. Yeah. And I'm trying to like sort through the menu, and they're like yelling at me that, well, it always works. And I was like, well, sometimes these things like reset. Like, this isn't really my fault here. Like, well, we're supposed to be starting now. And I just was like, bro, I'm trying to help you. Like,
yeah, this is your equipment. So. Yeah, it's we encountered a lot of that stuff when we would go out.
It takes a lot for me to get, I think, into like dick mode.
No, that's what I'm saying. I've encountered sound guys that are just immediately start yelling at me, like, "What are you like? Get your shit up here!" You know, I'm like, "All right, I'm going."
When getting out of the pandemic restrictions, I'll call it, because I think we're at the tail end of it now. I forgot that I had like a nice yelling voice and then like an angry yelling voice. So I think my first couple shows back, people really did think I was like,
you were just yelling.
I was the asshole sound guy because I forgot how to like,
Yeah, and like your interaction skills were
rusty,
lacking. Yeah,
and I'm to practice. Awkward kind of to begin with. But yeah, there's definitely like, I have a nice yelling voice, which is just like, I work in a loud environment and I need to talk to you, versus like, I was just yelling at this guy. And I was like, I apologized after the gig. I was like, I know this sounds made up, but I was like, I have a nice yelling voice. I just forgot. And he's like, nah, dude, I get it. Like, he's like, there are sound guys that don't have a nice voice at all. I was like,
yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, I've encountered a ton of great people too. So it's like any industry, Yeah,
I think the bad ones outweigh the good ones in the memory bank. Like, I think there's more good sound people out there than there are like angry, mean.
I could probably recite every bad review of my restaurant to you, but like not tell you any of the good ones. It's just like, I don't know how like my brain just works that way.
Yeah, I feel like I've mixed a lot of good sets. Not trying to be like, look at me mixing good sets over here, but I like all of my big mistakes I can recall, like chronologically, alphabetically, like
I did that on this date at this time,
and I had like, I remember I had that beer that night, and then it was like good sets would just be like, I think I just did good.
Yeah, it's you're gonna have different nights. We have in the restaurants all. Like we had a great Saturday last Saturday. Everything was flowing. Customers in all day long till close, and like almost a record-setting sales day. And then it's like, then the next day it'll just be like everything goes wrong and nothing's working, and everyone's in a pissy mood, and it's hard to deal with sometimes. But
people are weird.
Yeah.
Sweet. You want to get into the playlist? Cap off this episode?
Yeah.
Or we can keep talking about nerd stuff.
No,
I just don't want to hold
I don't want to like nerd people out too hard,
Yeah. The question is, are you going to listen back to this episode?
Probably not. I won't be able to. I don't want to hear my voice.
I was on this one, guys.
Guys, check this out.
Sweet.
I'll play it at work. Hey guys, come listen to me ramble.
I just remember when we were installing stuff. When I walk into Mela, I will say this. I always tell people, I stood on that oven.
Yeah.
I asked first. You said it was cool, but I'd just like to tell
It's
people.
very sturdy.
Yeah.
Very sturdy.
People always think there's like a great story to it.
You're like, no, I had to run a wire.
Yeah, I just had to plug in an HDMI cable. And then the other thing is, one of the guys that worked in like the cider part, like the brewing part, was just like asked if we had speakers for that. And he's like, because I want to fucking party, man. I was like, cool.
I know, it wasn't even the plan. And Bob was like, he's like, I have some speakers I can throw in there. I was like, oh, okay.
I forget who it was. He's just like, I just want to bump some tunes while I work. And I was like, I get it, man.
I know. I was like, that's weird. But they turn it up so loud that like I just hear it in the restaurant sometimes. Yeah. I'm like, guys, you have to turn that down a little bit.
Yeah. And then there was one lady who worked at like the front of house thing of the restaurant.
Becky?
Maybe.
Older, like an older lady?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I walked in and she was like, have you been here before? I was like, I hung all these speakers.
I spent a lot of time here. Like
I've seen every.
I almost brought you an apple bacon pizza today.
Oh, that would have been cool.
I just wanted to get out of there, so
I understand that.
I didn't feel like making another pizza.
I don't blame you.
But next time I'll
that's my
pizza.
go-to.
It's pretty good. Have you tried the Andouille cheese pizza though?
Yes. Is that the slightly spicy one with the honey on it?
Yes.
Yeah, I ordered that.
That's my favorite pizza probably ever.
I looked at. We saw Spider-Man, and then we went to Mela.
Nice.
And I looked at my girlfriend, and I was like, I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm going to order it.
Oh, it was one of those things.
Yeah.
It's Andouille.
Okay.
Andouille.
It
took me a long time
I just
to learn
at
that.
It when I went. I was like, this one.
This one. It's so good.
She has a complaint, though.
What?
It was a what? Spinach and mushroom, like ravioli or something? She got it in the spring.
And we don't have it anymore?
Yeah.
And she's mad about it?
Yeah, she's like, when he comes on the podcast, you need to tell him.
You need to tell him to make that.
Yeah.
Okay. But has she tried the butternut squash risotto?
I don't know.
Ask
Corey,
her.
have you tried it? I'm going to send her this clip isolated. So there's that one. And I actually had a fan question for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've been telling people that Josh Fidler's coming on the podcast. And
What's
people want to know, how is the artist decided for your cocktails? Because all of your cocktails are named after songs of musical artists.
That's like an Ilsa thing. She's our beverage director. Very talented. So I think it's the first one started as like just a funny joke. Then I think they did Beyonce or something. And like it just caught on, like people loved it. So like Ilsa was like, we're doing this for every menu. So we just actually sit down and we start throwing around ideas. Or lately we've just been like sourcing the employees, and like we have like a group text thing, and they just start like pouring it on, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. Then there's like a short list, and ultimately like I have to approve it, or Ilsa, so. But yeah, it's been, we've done like Prince, I think, and we did
Bowie,
Beach Boys was like the summer, which actually it's super fun because you don't realize how many song names like are good drink names. Yeah. Like, and it's just like the Beach Boys one was just like, wow, like that's perfect. Like all these songs are just drinks. Like, so that's cool. It's pretty fun. I thought it was a great idea.
I have tried many cocktails that I normally wouldn't try just because of the name of the song.
Yeah.
So, and they've all been good.
It's fun. They make amazing cocktails.
And I got an espresso when we played. It came in that little tiny cup.
I like those little cups.
And it made me feel really big and fancy. Because one of my favorite movie scenes is from Avengers Endgame. If you've seen it.
I have.
When Hulk hands Ant-Man the tacos, but he's big Hulk, but the tacos are like that. It made me just feel like that. Yeah. And I was like, it just warmed my heart.
My daughter, like, we have those at home, so we sip together. I mean, hers is just milk. Mine has coffee. I don't give her caffeine. I could.
I wouldn't judge you.
She's 2. That would be a terrible idea. She's already like hard enough to deal with.
I feel like in little kids, like caffeine actually has like the inverse effect. You have to look into it.
Like Adderall. Like,
sure.
For like, maybe we'll try it. I'll talk to my wife tonight.
I mean, I would look it up.
Maybe it'll calm her down.
I would consult a medical professional before you take my advice.
I take your advice on everything. So
he's got podcasts. He knows what's up.
Adam told me it on his podcast, and my wife will be like, "You need to stop listening to all those podcasts." She does not enjoy your podcast as much as I do.
That's understandable
because she just has no idea what we're talking about, and
It's understandable.
But I do that to her all the time. I come in the house, like, you got to hear this EQ move I made, like, and she's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, just make my voice sound good. And that's all I care about. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to text Adam about it then, okay?
Yeah, I'll respond. Oh, yeah, my girlfriend will come to shows, and I feel bad. There's, like, admission of guilt. It's just, like, because the live events schedule is kind of like a restaurant schedule, where it's just, like, weekends are just, you don't have them.
Yeah.
So, like, she'll have off, and I'll be like, she's like, well, we can do something. And I'm like, well, I have to work a show, so you can come to the show. Like, that's the best I got.
That's super cool.
But yeah, she'll come to a lot of them, and there will be times where I'm like, did you hear what I did to that kick drum? And she's like, nope. I'm like,
but did you feel it? Did you feel it, though?
When I discovered the parallel path on the Allen and Heath consoles.
You love that.
Oh.
Did we get an Allen and Heath console at the theater? I think so.
I feel like you got an Allen and Heath SQ.
Yeah. Does that have that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so you can basically do, so you like what you do, because you have the VMR, right? You said the Slate one?
No. I don't use like a mixer.
No, I was talking about like with your plugins, the
Slate
mix
rack.
Yeah. So you can dial the mix in on your compressor.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's in the menu somewhere on the compressor, it'll say parallel path. And so if it's blue with a little green dot in it, it's off. But if it's green with, if you make it green and turn it on, it's the same thing. So it'll revert to, if you have it at 100%, it's 100% compressed, but you can dial it back.
Oh, so it's like running it like on a bus, but it's on the channel.
Yeah, because the Slate plugins do the same thing.
I always I can't ever make a decision, because some of the UA plugins do the same thing, like the API 2500 compressor.
Yeah.
Like I just got that, and it's just like, it does things to drums that are just amazing, but it has the mix knob. So I have a hard time deciding if I just throw it here or I put it on a bus. It's just like that decision stresses me out.
Phoenix is of the I'm just going to turn the mix knob back mindset. I'm more of the I'm going to put it on a bus and I'm going to have good cop, bad cop. And
that's me.
Yeah.
Because I like to like leave my original tracks kind of untouched in a way.
Yeah.
Just minimal processing, like EQ and stuff on the snare. But
you don't really need that much 400 in your kick drum, so you're gonna like bump that out a little bit. But then you're gonna And I think it's my live guy mentality or workflow, where it's just like I'd rather just do the move on a fader. Whereas like if I'm going to go in Pro Tools, which I'm thinking of whatever DAW I accumulate.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after.
Yeah. It's easier to just EQ, or not EQ, but automate a fader, because you can just click volume and boost that up, then like go like selecting your plugin, selecting the automation dialog that you can use, and selecting the parameters. It's too much clicking, where it's just, to me and my taste, if it's on a fader, I can just bump the volume up right on that screen.
See, that's interesting, because I think that, like, I did some live sound back in the day, but like I think that I mix more like a live performance.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think this is a good thing either. I think that I have a lot of learning to do on how things translate.
Yeah.
Because it's different. But I want to feel the kick drum.
Yeah.
And I want to, when I sit in my car, like I want to feel this thing in my lower back. And I want to feel some air. That's just like, that's how I like to listen to music.
Phoenix is that way. He likes to, in his mix room, his subwoofer's hot. He's like, I always have too much like bass in my mix. And I was like, well, just turn your subwoofer up, so then you're not doing as drastic EQ moves. You're just feeling it that way. I'm the opposite, where it's just like when I'm in studio, I want my workflow to be similar, but I want my listening environment to be completely different. So it forces me to think about the moves I'm making.
Yeah. It's
mixing
is hard.
It's
mixing
endless.
Has been one of the biggest learning curve things that I've ever done in my life. Like I tell anybody that I talk to about that. It's like even learning how to cook food was like way easier than like mixing a song. Like, cause I thought this would be an interesting thing. like me, you, and Phoenix take the same tracks and all mix it.
Sure.
And then do like a comparative thing on like how different it can be between 3 different people mixing the same thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I would just be like, that would just be fun.
So what you're saying is you want to do a monthly feature on our podcast. That's what I'm hearing.
I would love to. I mean, I like to talk about stuff and
Yeah.
learn stuff, and that's what this is about. So
Nailed it. Phoenix, we have a recurring guest. I doubt he's going to listen to this episode.
I've never even like met Phoenix in real
Really?
life. I don't think so. I see him on the internet a lot, like
Just send him a
playing
friend
with
request. Just be like,
Bob's kid, or
yeah, they're good.
they are pretty good. They're cranking out some rockers,
Yeah,
some rocking,
those kids.
which
are,
I would expect nothing less from Bob's kid.
Yeah,
But they rip though.
yeah.
And
I
they're-
wish that kid's got it made. Like, I want all those toys to play with.
I know.
And I was like,
it's pretty cool.
if I had Bob's studio and I was 16,
I
I would never leave either.
I did kind of have Bob's toys my whole life.
That's fair.
We've borrowed stuff from him
Yeah.
for like literally like 20 years. So
Yeah.
I'm basically Bob's child.
That's fair.
So yeah.
He did like to tell me, he's like, I mixed his band at the high school battle of the bands. I
Yeah.
was like, I think you mixed my band at the high school battle of the bands.
He's like, you've been
He's
mixing.
Like, he's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And then we told him, he's like, oh yeah, you guys were awful. And I was like, yes. And then there was a festival where the other dudes from one of my high school bands formed another band, and they played like the same set list. And I looked at my girlfriend, I was like, I wrote this song when I was 13. And she goes, this is a terrible song. And I was like, I was 13.
She's like, don't tell anybody.
I was like,
about
I'm-
that.
At the time, I was like, I'm 25 now.
Yeah.
I've had some upgrades musically.
Oh man. So what's this playlist? I what am I supposed to do now?
Your 5 songs that you're feeling today, or more, whatever. That's our tie-in.
I know.
We'd like to get more.
I should have been more prepared though.
That's fine. Just what'd you listen?
And I don't even have my phone. I could look on my phone, but
Yeah,
it's out there.
That's fair.
But we could actually, I could go get it, right?
Yeah, I can cut this
Like,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're going to edit this. All right. Let me go get my phone real quick.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm listening. I've only listened to podcasts today. I've listened to no music.
Actually, I think I left it in my car. Well, I'll just go off the cuff.
Yeah.
All right, you go first.
No, you are the guest.
go
You can go
first.
first. Yeah.
So there's a song called Wilder Days by Morgan Wade. And it's kind of I don't know how I stumbled on it. It's like more like Americana. It's like borderline pop country. I don't know. It's right in between.
Gotcha.
Super cool, but I think like Sadler Vaden that plays with Jason Isbell, like they played a festival together, and like the sound guy gave them her CD, and then he ended up like writing it and producing it.
Oh,
with
that's
her.
cool.
So it's super cool tonally. It's a perfect pop song. Like
I like a
perfect
good pop song.
I do too, and especially the older I get. But perfect pop song, great tones, drum tones, guitar tones. It would be like a record I would strive to be like, wow, I want to make something sound, because it
Similar
doesn't
to
sound overly polished either. Like
Yeah.
you can tell they put some money and time into it, but
It's like natural, but right.
just perfect.
They
Like-
spent 20 hours picking the snare sound.
Yes. Yeah, and I think you would enjoy, like, headphones, awesome to listen on.
Sweet. Yeah, that's my favorite thing about this podcast was the playlist idea, because I like discovering new music, but I never know where to go. Like, I just fall in my wormholes of...
I know, I listen to the same thing over
10
and over
albums,
again. Yeah.
But I've recently gotten into... did you ever listen to Father John Misty?
Yes.
I've recently discovered him. I followed his drummer on Instagram for like years. his drummer is like my home studio like hero guy. Like he's always coming up with like crazy drum sounds, and he just converted his 2-car garage into his home studio. It's awesome. I'll send you his Instagram. Dan Bailey is his name.
I haven't listened to too much, but I know the stuff I've heard. I've been like, wow, this is like really cool.
Yeah, and I never listened to him. I was like, I follow his drummer or his live drummer. Like, this guy's cool. I should, listen to what he plays. So I always forget the name of the song. The Hollywood Forever Cemetery Sings or something like that. It's been my jam of the last couple days.
I'm gonna
really
listen
enjoy
to
it.
I do listen to your guys' songs because I'm always like curious.
Sweet. Is it easy to find the playlist through the link? Like,
I've never found it through the link. I just look it up while you guys are saying.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think in each episode there's a description that'll take you to your platform of choice.
I gotta look at that. Yeah. I'm not very good at like listening to podcasts. Like
that's fair.
But like I don't feel like the Apple interface is like super user friendly either. But there's sometimes I couldn't even find your podcast.
Yeah, that was
for like weeks.
That was our.
I was listening on YouTube though.
Our changeover.
I was leaving my phone on in the car to listen to it.
Nice, sweet. I appreciate it.
There's my second song.
Yeah.
I might not make it till 5.
That's fine.
I think I have like 4.
That's cool.
Black Pumas. Any of the songs on their album, but particularly like Colors was like the bigger single that they released. Production on that is like gorgeous. Like it sounds like it was made in 1971.
Yeah, that's a good sounding record.
It's I just can't even get over like the drum tones. Like it's like it sounds it's so small. It's like if this is your field, like it's taking up only this spot,
but it's perfect.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you do that? It's like it's magic. Like
good feel, good kit. Probably
mono, maybe.
I think mono. It's similar. It had the Black Keys kind of drum vibe to it, but without the extra layers of stuff.
Yeah, like a little less distortion, maybe.
Yeah, not as saturated, just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, god damn it, is it beautiful. I got it on vinyl.
Nice.
That's why I bring it back up. I know it's an older... It came out like last year, but at Target. I got it on vinyl at Target.
I've gotten a lot of good vinyl at Target.
I felt like an old, dirty man, like for reals. I was like...
I bought the Blue album at Target. I was really excited.
I would have bought... If I saw that, I would buy that there.
Yeah.
Because that's that Surf Rock USA song.
Yeah.
So good.
Someone was...
Can I make that my third song?
Yeah, sure.
Surf Rock USA. Weezer, have you ever heard of it?
I just told you I bought the Blue... I was going to pick something off. All right, I'm going to completely switch gears, and the new Meshuggah single, The Abysmal Eye, has been like my workout song of the past couple weeks.
What is it? Like, I've never heard of it.
They're like super heavy. Like, they kind of started the gent movement.
What's the gent movement?
Like, the heavy, chuggy metal stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, I'm like old. I don't even know like subgenres anymore.
They are like... I don't know how heavy you go musically, but they are ridiculous. I can't believe you've never listened to Meshuggah before.
I'm gonna listen to it.
You should. It's...
When we started writing Bear Mountain stuff, I started listening to more heavy stuff, but like...
Oh, this is like...
Bear Mountain stuff's not necessarily like super heavy, but it's heavier than anything I had written.
Oh, this is like heavy.
Like real heavy.
Yeah. But now I just like... When I listen to Meshuggah, I just want to get jacked. So they're like my workout pick. And the new... Like, they're older. Like, they're all pushing 50 or in their 50s. And they're still writing like... This is just like heaviest metal imaginable. It's awesome.
I'm going to listen to that on the way home.
It's good. You'll either be really into it or you'll be like, no, not going down that road again.
I'm going to go into it with a very open mind.
Yeah. I'm disgustingly heavy.
I'm a very... Like, I love Americana music. Like,
yeah.
Like, anybody that knows me probably knows Jason Isbell is, like, my favorite. And I'm, like, a super fanboy. Like, but I like melodic songwriting, like like Nick's stuff. Like I like his stuff because it's like that's just what I grew up listening to bluegrass and all that stuff, but with my dad. So I'm like hone in on that,
Like Meshuggah's very rhythmical. There's a lot of like polyrhythms, and the drums and guitar are like, in certain songs the kick drum is following the guitar pattern, but this, the hands are just playing like 2 and 4 just pretty solidly and stuff. And yeah, it's like it's screaming vocals, but he delivers it in a very like polyrhythmic cadence, because I think the drummer writes a lot of the lyrics, so it's a very percussive and rhythmical thing, and it's just,
I'm gonna check it out.
It's awesome.
This song came out last week. The Flying V's local outfit. The Stable Shakers?
Yeah.
Brecken.
Mm-hmm. Not personally, but I know. Yeah.
Very talented, but they started like this all girl, like I don't even know. It's like soul band. It's basically like 4 of them or 5. I think it's 4, and they harmonize. Like they're all amazing vocalists, and they put out this song called "The Devil Knows My Name," and it was produced by a guy that lives up that way in like Chambersburg, and it sounds like amazing. Like it's radio ready. Like it's super cool.
Nice.
So yeah, Flying V's "The Devil Knows My Name," I think.
I feel like I saw someone invited me to maybe like them on Facebook or something, or someone shared.
You should
something.
like them. They're super cool.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to Banks and Steels?
No.
It is the RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay, I knew that.
And the dude from Interpol.
Huh.
And they have a band. And
That's
they have a song called Giant, which is awesome. But for whatever reason, if my iTunes, when I go in my car, goes on shuffle, that is one of the first 3 songs it'll play.
That is weird.
Awesome.
Mine does that to me too. It just plays like the same 3 songs.
Yeah.
So,
but it won't be alphabetical. Like sometimes it starts alphabetical, but it'll just like, you'll click on a new album and you'll play a song, and then you'll want to skip the next song, and it won't go to the 3rd song on the album. It'll just be like, we're on shuffle now. And for whatever reason, my car always plays Giant, which is great because that song's phenomenal.
that sounds like
it's a weird
amazing
pairing.
combination though.
It's a good album.
Because I love both those things.
They are. I didn't know it existed, and someone showed it to me. It's like, what is this? And it's all I want to listen to.
Huh. So one more.
Yeah.
Surfer Blood is the band. It's the first track off. Look, can you look it up real quick?
Yeah.
I just can't remember the name of the track, but like, so I like got it kind of in like jazz master guitars, and like it's like a super nerdy world of people that just love offset guitars.
I like a good jazz master.
It's my favorite guitar, but which is it? This one here. Oh yeah, the first one, Floating Vibes. It's just like they're older. Like I think that album's from
It says 2010.
2010, yeah. But like I found it on this like message board for like jazz master lovers, and it's super cool, like floaty, surfy. I think you'd really like it actually.
Sweet.
So I've been jamming on that pretty hard.
Nice.
So
now I need a 5th one to round it out. Oh God. I haven't listened to music today. It's weird. It's been a weird day. It's been a podcast only listening day. Like even when I worked out, it was just like listening to a live sound.
I listened to
podcast.
a ton of podcasts.
All right. My last pick will be a song called "I Saw the Night Die" by a band called Cold Collective. They're like an indie rock band from Massachusetts. Their frontman actually passed away, so they hacked into his computer and downloaded all of the demos he had written, and then they wrote the album off of the demos that he had left on his hard drive.
Wow, that's cool.
And it's a really good album. I'm internet friends with the one guitar player, so that's cool.
I'm gonna check that out.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah,
Do
man.
you have
It's been super fun.
anything to plug to the audience?
No, just this stuff. Jack's Hard Cider, Mailer Kitchen.
We got swag.
It's the Core Theater. That's what they're calling it.
Because the apples.
Yeah.
I get it.
You get it? It's so smart.
I got it. I can pick up context clues.
We're going to have a logo with core and everything. But
Sweet.
No, so live music, pizza, cider, pasta.
All great things.
Risotto, beef tongue toast. That's really good.
I had we had one of the appetizers. Something with fish. I don't remember what it was.
Trout toast.
No, it was like something. It was like raw fish.
Oh, you got the tuna crudo.
Yeah,
that's really good. Yeah, we only had that. You must have been there at the right time. Valentine's weekend.
No, this was back in.
Oh yeah, we had it on the menu.
Back in December.
Yeah, it was on that menu.
We stopped in for like a happy hour or something.
The spring menu will come out soon.
Sweet.
As soon as I finish it, but it could be a week. It could be a month.
You got a podcast to go on.
I have stuff to do.
Yeah.
So it's the other stuff to do. But thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Super fun.
All right. Everybody go check out Josh's band, Bear Mtn, and follow him on wherever.
Instagram.
Just follow him around.
We don't have a Facebook for Bear Mtn.
Go to Josh's work and just see what
I'll
he's
make
up
you
to.
something.
Yep.
I'll make you a cheeseburger or something.
You can go in and you could be like, is that the oven that Adam stood on? And he'll be like, yes.
Yeah, that's the one. This is the one from the podcast. You heard it. So.
All right. Sweet.